Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel for another very big Lego build, or project I should say, considering this is kind of ground one for everything. Obviously, you see a lot of brown, you see a lot of clone stuff behind me. This is going to be the first battle of Geonosis. Obviously there's a couple of them, but for me I'm going to do basically from Attack of the Clones. I'm going to do the first battle of Geonosis the best I can. I've teased this and shown off what I had built already in a couple of my channel overviews each month, and I decided that it's finally time to make a series on it. And don't worry, the city, Hogwarts, all of that's still very much going to keep going at its normal pace. I have a huge chunk of this stuff already, which is pretty nice. Cleaning it up, and sorry if I'm nasally and I'm a little hard to understand. My allergies are just demolishing me this year, so a little rough. But essentially, I already have some of the spider droids, the Geonosis starfighter. We got some hailfire droids, little dwarfed spider droids as well. Arguing one of my top 5 favorite Lego sets of all time, the Republic Attack gunship, which cost way too much and took me way too long to find. I actually found that at a local Lego store, I believe last year. And yes, it is missing one of the wings. I have it. It's perfectly fine. It is still in perfect condition. Essentially, this is going in my bookshelf cabinet, so I cannot, I don't have the width for both wings. So I actually built a huge column out of these huge window panels with some 1x1x1 connectors, or 1x2, 2x, whatever those are called, the little L's, to actually build a relatively secure platform. We have the brand new ATTE, of course. And then this is actually a custom, which got beat up a little bit on the way over here, a custom clone command center. This was actually taking a couple of the battle packs and building one of my own. We have Yoda here, of course, a huge computer screen. It's not the best in the world, but it actually does really work for what I need it to. We've got a huge army of clones, and I have about 100 Geonosis battle droids. Those are actual, those are 3D printed from someone. I don't have a million of these things. Some are real, like a couple of super battle droids, and some of the actual droids are. You can tell the difference for the most part. And then we have a Geonosis figure as well. Essentially, when I started this project was right after we moved into our last place a couple years ago, and I did not have the money for what a Geonosis battle droid nowadays is probably $2 to $3 a piece. Spending $200 to $300 on figures was not my priority. It was for that. So I eventually do want to replace all of those with real ones if I can. But I mean, a lot of these huge displays do not all use generic, standard Lego parts anyways. So sometimes you got to cut some corners. The brown base plates, for instance, Lego does not make brown base plates, so these are also a third party. I forget what company they actually are. You can go on Amazon or eBay, and basically you just find Chinese knockoff versions of base plates, and they're not necessarily cheaper, but they offer different colors, which is honestly perfect. I wanted some brown base plates. I also do have some light kits ready to go for some of this stuff. All of the lightsabers, for the most part, except for Katie Mundy and Stas Ali, are ready to go. And obviously a ton of Phase 1 clones. They were kind of all spread out. I took some out of my frame a while back to put in here for the clone display. So yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. We have one clone pilot in. I still need to get a second one. They're not really expensive, but they are, for minifigures, when you need a huge amount, just the Jedi for this alone, if you include 10 Jedi, I mean, that's quite a hike. Right now I have Kit Fisto picked up for my next one. I mean, he's $30 at this point if you're buying him just by himself. Plus the light kit for him is another 6 to 10. So yeah, it's gonna be a very expensive project. It's gonna take a while, but I love doing Hogwarts. I love doing my city, and I just wanted one more project to kind of work on so that I'm representing, all of my different themes. Castles really the only thing not going on right now. And I figured since I at least have a ton of this stuff already ready to go, all I need to do is really clean it up, get it into working order. I don't know if I have enough translucent pieces for the Geonosis Starfighter. If I do not, then I will just do that maybe in the next video. Wait, I'm not 100% sure yet. Also, this whole piece is shattered across the bottom, in case you guys can actually see that. That happened in the move, unfortunately. Brittle browns, and just the Geonosis and Starfighter bought it on that one. Still works perfectly fine. I was able to rebuild it to just going around that shattered piece because it's one of those like huge actual panel pieces, and you can even see like it's beat up over time. I also have the duel on Geonosis between Yoda, Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Count Dooku, which is where a lot of those minifigures came from. That is going to be a separate project in the background. I want to build like a tower up. I have a couple big bags full of it, but that was just completely demolished in the build, and most of that was custom. And you know, I don't take notes when I do custom builds, so I will have to redo all of that, so we'll see in the future what becomes of that project. But yeah, I'm very excited for all this. I think this is going to be a pretty cool project. If you have any recommendations, sets, minifigures, anything like that, definitely let me know in the comment section below. Now let's get started on this amazing custom build, guys. Alright everybody, so here is the first part of the final build. Overall, I added a little clone trooper to the gunner seat. I switched the location of the large spider droid and the Hellfire droid, mainly just to give some depth there. Lining up all of the battle droids is a tedious and annoying process. If you've never had to do it, God help you, because it's an experience. I added a bunch of just broken battle droids to the front, including one clone falling down for being on the front lines. Got a couple clone troopers just spread out. We have Stas Ali with a glowing lightsaber, and then one of my favorite little scenes, Ki-Adi-Mundi leading a small battalion of clones to the back. You of course have Yoda, the clone lieutenant, or I think captain, I forget what the L one is, might be lieutenant, in the back with a couple of his troopers. Up top, I added Obi-Wan and Anakin. Obi-Wan is not perfect for this, just because I actually have the one from the clone, what is it called? I have the one from his Jedi Starfighter, so it does have a little, like, mouthpiece there. You can't really see it, but it is something I would like to work on. And then, in the front, right over here, I have Count Dooku and Mace Windu. Now, I'm eventually going to do a translucent column coming up here for Geonosis and Starfighter, and I want to add a couple Geonosis minifigures like flying around as well. I just need some translucent pieces, but we can add those in the next segment too. This is obviously part one. I also need Padme's minifigure, which is relatively expensive, and tons of Jedi. So I am very happy with how it turned out for part one. I'm looking forward to part two for sure. This is going to be a relatively quick one as well. I would actually like the ATTE cockpit and maybe even the gunship to have some lights in it as well. It's just a little bit tough because they don't make a lot of light kits for these older sets. So the gunship, the spider droids, the Hellfire droids, stuff like that really don't have a lot of representation with lighting, so it would be a lot of custom work, but we can get there. For now, I just have the wire straped down behind the back. You can probably see a couple of them just because they're not perfect. Dooku will be eventually moved to the duel and Geonosis if I do include that in this entire build, which there's obviously dead space in the back, but with the Geonosis and Starfighter, depending on how high I make it, we'll see. Obviously, I would probably have to get rid of one of the tanks, so I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'll definitely do the Starfighter until then, and then some Geonosis minifigures with translucent pieces like flying around. I think that would be pretty cool, but that is just going to about do it for this build, folks. Let me know if you have any recommendations for still cool things to add to this, any minifigures that you would like to see me add next or anything like that. Definitely let me know in the comment section below. Like, comment, and subscribe if you can. Feel free to join if you would like to become a member of the channel to see more exclusive content, and I'll see you next time. Happy building, everybody.